Chepstow to Montgomery is 88 miles. Montgomery to Prestatyn is 84 miles. This will give you lows like you've never had at any time in your life, but it will give you a joy, a satisfaction than you never found anywhere else. It will test your resilience, your courage, your tenacity, your energy. It will ask you to give when you've nothing left to give. It will give you happiness, it will give you joy. This is Offa's Dyke path. So I'm ready for day 2 of walking the Offa's Dyke path, Montgomery to Prestatyn. Today I'm starting here at Buttington Bridge and I'm going to Llanymynech. It's an easy day today, 11 miles, only 300 foot of ascent, which I probably won't even notice. So in Offa's Dyke terms, that's a stroll in the park. It's a cool day, cloudy, and I'm ready to go. I've got my guidebook, I've got my phone, I've got all my supplies in my rucksack. I'm going to get on with it. So in this field, there's no obvious line of the path at all. I came through a gate way back there and the arrow said straight across the field. So I hope I've picked up the right direction and this gate that I'm heading to is where I'm supposed to be. Let's hope there's a little acorn on it. Yes, here we are. And that looks like the acorn to me. Yes, it is. Through this gate and on through the next field. So yeah, the path line is now more clearly established as it's heading across this field towards the busy A483, which I have to cross to continue along the other side. So I crossed the A483 without any problems. There are quiet bits, but you've got to be on your toes to take them. The path is now alongside this busy road until it turns off into the countryside. So I'm now next to the Montgomery Canal on the towpath, which is actually right next to the busy A483. But at least I have a hedge between me and the traffic roaring past with some regularity. The canal is sadly covered in algae because there's no water flow at all, and the algae will form where there is still water. And views over there to what I think is the Long Mountain. More views of Long Mountain as I reach this swing bridge carrying a track across the canal. I don't know what nutrients the sheep get in these parched fields. They do appear to be feeding on something, but they can't be getting a great deal off this yellow, dry grass. They all look as though they're trying to get down to the reeds at the water's edge, and they don't know how to do it. So So here's the first lock I've come to on the canal, but I don't go that way because just on this telegraph pole here there is a waymark post which tells me I go to this path on the right. And rejoining the busy A483, this is a little village called Pool Key. So sadly I have to follow the road again a little while, cross it and pick up the path on the other side. So crossing the road here, joined by another fellow walker on the path. You walking the path? You walking the path?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll just wait for the traffic to clear and we'll cross, and then it continues on the fields over that stile on the other side of the road. So that's the long mountain. Better view than earlier, we're quite close to it now, and been walking along this embankment for quite some time. The River Severn is just there, running between those trees, and the way ahead is there. So I've been walking for some time along this raised embankment, along these flat fields on the floodplain of the River Severn. And in a way this completes some kind of loop, because the Offa's Dyke path starts at the Severn Estuary just outside Chepstow. We now meet the River Severn again, not far from its source above Welshpool, and it's currently, the river actually runs north, which is the direction I'm walking in, before it makes a huge loop somewhere around Telford and heads south through Bridgnorth to find its way to the sea in the Bristol Channel. So that's kind of a interesting factoid, I think. Anyway, I'll continue with this easy, level, if somewhat boring walking. These guys have had enough of the heat, I think. If someone's coming to explore. Hello, what are you after? Now some people don't come on this section of the path. They say that through the fields the cows can be a little bit aggressive, and this fella's following me. I wonder if he might be right, but these guys are alright. So what an alternative is, if you are a bit nervous about them, is to stay on the canal when you get to Pool Key, and stay on it until you reach Four Crosses. This does eventually make its way to Four Crosses, and that's when, if you continued along the canal, you'd pick up the path again. But I'd rather walk the path as is, as it's laid down, and wherever it may take me, and whatever adventures I may have while I'm walking it. Hay bales in the field, all piled up, ready to be taken into the farm for drying, for the winter feed for the cattle. I suppose they'll need much drying this year. So this embankment, still following the River Severn on this embankment, and I suppose the one thing about it is it keeps the path above the level of any flooding from the river when the river is in space. At the moment it's quite the opposite. Still doing this tedious walking across level fields by the river on this embankment. I've just come through a gate, and the embankment has become a manicured path through the woodland. It's very pretty. Still hear the noise of the quarry in the background. This is very nice. So I've just stopped here because as I came down the path behind me there, I've got this came across this table and chairs here. So I'm going to stop for a cup of tea, I think. What better place than here to have my first break. I've been walking probably for 2.5 hours now. So yeah, it's about time for a rest. And I've just taken my map pocket off and realised I forgot to change the map over yesterday. I'm still on WellChild, and the path which is here, where are we, there, just north of WellChild, dropped off the map, and I should have changed it over, but it's not a big problem. I've got my Offa's Dyke guidebook here and it has Wainwright style, plenty of very easy to follow maps, very straightforward, and the table and chairs I'm sitting on are actually marked on this drawing. Here's the bridge over the river. Gate's not been closed, but maybe the latch, maybe it doesn't. Oh yes, it does latch. Okay, so we can fix that. Yeah, there we go. Gate closed, as it should be. And we actually, I think I've got this wrong. That's not the River Severn, that's just a drainage ditch. It's too straight with the river. Anyway, across the drainage ditch, the character of the walk has now changed after that lengthy period of traversing the floodplain along the embankment by the side of the River Severn. We've now been dropped onto this stony path, cornfield one side, a small stream the other, sadly overrun with Himalayan balsam. And it's quite a bendy, twisty, stony lane. So I've come to this gate here behind me, having walked down that stony track, only to realise there are no way markers at all here, which tells me I've gone off track. So so I have to resort to the trusty Garmin to retrace my steps to find out where I missed the turning. And so I'm just going to switch the Garmin on and see where there is, which means retracing my steps back down this stony track. Okay, so this is where I went wrong. I came down from that bridge there onto this stony track, and I headed off down there almost on autopilot without noticing here the little acorn directed me straight across this field. So that was a lesson to not be so much on autopilot on these level fields, but it is easy to do. Anyway, back on the track now and across there, and so onto this lovely woodland way, like walking under a canopy it's on a raised embankment still, under a canopy of trees. It's very cloudy and grey today. There's been a little bit of hint of rain in the air in the last half hour, but at least the heat and sunshine from yesterday are not here today. It's quite a good day for walking actually. It's a good temperature. There's quite a stiff breeze, keeping things nice and cool, and the walking is incredibly easy, as if Offa's Dyke path isn't showing its real teeth until later in the week. But we'll find out in a couple of days' time, I suspect. A slight obstruction ahead. That's enough room to just duck underneath it. Get down far enough to allow for the pack and we're off again. Sorry, can I come past your tree? Hey? All these sheep. I've just scattered them. It's alright, I'm not going to hurt you. Off you go. One thing you notice on the path is the number of majestic trees. And here's two examples. And they really are. They're really old, judging by the size of the trunks. A couple hundred years, maybe 150, maybe 100 years, the one on the left, 150, 250, the one on the right. And they really are just majestic, just magnificent examples of nature at its best. That is the first view I've had of Llanymynech rocks, which are above the village of Llanymynech, which is my destination today. And then tomorrow the path goes up along the edge of those rocks. So I'm just walking through the village of Four Crosses down this quiet street, and I happened to find this bench at the side of the road. So I decided to have my lunch there, which I've just finished. So now I head on up the street behind me, cross the A483, the main road, and join the Montgomery Canal for the last section of today's walk that takes me to Llanymynech. And it's about, well, it's 3 miles on the road because it says so on the signpost, but the canal is kind of like a loop around it, so I know it's longer. So it might be 3.5 miles by the canal. So I'm probably looking at hour and 15 minutes to get to my finish point today in Llanymynech. It's now 1 o'clock, so I'm expecting to arrive there 2:15. I love these red flowers, which are just at the side of the road, just growing along the gaps between the garden wall and the pavement. So from the street in Four Crosses, where I have my lunch, the path descends to go under the busy A483. Thank God I don't have to cross it. And then emerges on the other side. Nice mosaics either side here. Some old photographs, Llandegla, City House, City Road. The road to Oswestry. The road from Welshpool to Dongay Corner. Interesting. The street, road to Oswestry. I've just walked up that. And then we emerge from the underpass to the other side, which takes us, there's the acorn there, telling me the way is that way. And it says that this plaque was unveiled by Carl Sargent, Minister for Local Government, on 7th of July 2011 to commemorate the completion of the A483 Four Crosses improvement. Well done, Carl. So I think this takes me up here to the Montgomery Canal, and then I follow the canal all the way to Llanymynech. So yeah, here we are. Although it might have been a bit previous for the canal because it's not quite here, but the sign is on that post over there. There's the acorn, directs me down this lane. so there's no question about the direction. So yeah, and there's a little sign on there saying Montgomery Canal, so this is the way. So yes, eventually, after a few yards down a lane, it brought me out to the towpath of the Montgomery Canal, which is where I am now. And this takes me all the way into Llanymynech. There's no turnings, nothing to look out for, nothing to miss. Well, I might lose the path just walking along here. And it's got me thinking about the mental approach to doing these long distance walks, because 2 days in, fairly easy walking, nonetheless my legs are now telling me that they've had enough. The muscles are quite sore with all the walking, and they just want to rest. They don't want to walk again tomorrow. And this is where you have to say to yourself, I've just got to put one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. It's not a case of saying, oh, I need a rest, I'm not going to do it. It's a case of saying, I do want to do it because I want to finish this walk. I know there's some punishing days up ahead, some really vicious inclines, long ones as well. The path has yet to show its teeth on this section of the journey, but it's going to, and that's where I'll have to use the mental approach of just one step in front of the other to get me through those difficult days, because everything in my body will be telling me that they don't want to do it. But you know what? They are going to do it, because I'm going to complete this and get to the finish. And there are the Llanymynech rocks, the base of which is the village of Llanymynech, where I'm headed. But it's on a rather less than direct route, because it's going this way and the canal actually loops round that way to get to the village. It's a swan and it's brood over there on the other side of the canal. Hello, tiny duck. Looks as though it's marooned. Coming up, low bridge, carrying a farm track over the canal. So, crouch down low and continue on the path. That looks like an old warehouse, now converted to a holiday home or flats, because there's a loading crane there for the barges, which must have travelled up and down this canal, travelling goods in the late 18th and early 19th century. So here there's an aqueduct, which I'm actually on at the moment, to carry the canal over the river. And I'm not sure, that's the road bridge over the canal, over the river, and I'm not sure which river this is. It looks big enough to be the Severn, but we've passed the Severn's gone the other way, so it could be the River Vyrnwy, but I didn't think the River Vyrnwy was this big. But I will check it when I get back, because it intrigues me, because it's a mighty fine river, not showing much signs of water loss, but it may be being topped up from the headwaters. If it is the River Vyrnwy, it comes from Lake Vyrnwy, which is controlled by sluice gates and a dam, so it could be topped up from that. Interestingly, at this point, the canal, which I've been following from there, seems to come to an end here where there's a road, so we'll cross over and see what it looks like the other side. So the canal emerges from the other side of the road and carries on down there, so it seems like the road must have been higher at some point, and there is some stonework there, which might indicate that there was a bridge that carried the canal, the road over the canal, and the bridge has now been demolished and the road just made straight across the canal, rendering the canal unusable. I mean, it is unusable anyway because it's not being maintained, so there's not been any barges or anything, which is a shame, but it would need a lot to bring this back into service. But it's a shame if they ever did, because they'd have to rebuild that road bridge. It is a shame that the canal isn't navigable, but it has its own beauty. I know it's covered with green algae, but with the reeds lining each bank, the ducks every now and then, I don't know, there's something kind of serene about it. The wildflowers growing on either bank, there's something quite serene and beautiful about it, even though it's not used. And were it to be used, of course that would be lost. This is what I mean, where this tree has fallen across the canal. Of course, because it's not being maintained, it's just been left there, and as nature reclaims it for itself, that sort of thing carries on. And there's some wild damsons on this tree. I'm not going to try them just in case, because I'm not all confident that I've got that right. So here is the first set of locks I've encountered on this part of the canal. Not much use to anyone, there's no boats on it, but nonetheless they would have been used at some point in its history. And I don't imagine you get those open now. They do look as though they've been reasonably maintained, but I guess the policy's shut now. Quite a deep lock, and the water coming through the lock gate there. And round the lock gate under the tunnel and across the other side. So the canal is totally overgrown here, and it has been for some time, from shortly after the lock. There are little short distances which are still clear water, but most of it has been completely reclaimed by nature. Lovely little purple flowers. Are they campions? I'm not very good on this naming stuff. That was the canal, totally overgrown now, totally reclaimed. So that's Llanymynech rocks behind me, and I'm not very far from the finish point. There's a canal bridge up ahead. If I turn around there, the village of Llanymynech is all around me. I met some locals and I told them I was on my way to Llanymynech, and they corrected my pronunciation. It's Llanymynech, so apologies for that. On to there's a gate there. I'm just wondering if that's the way through. I don't think it is. There's no way markers on it, so I'm pretty sure we're going under this bridge and out through the gate here. Yes, there's the acorn. There's the acorn. So it's definitely through here. That's the signpost, 4 crosses. There we are. 4 crosses, 2 miles, and that's where I had lunch. And the The other one is Llanymynech, 1/4 of a mile, and that's my destination. So crossing the road to this little path here by the beautiful flowers. There, and then sit through here. Well, actually it isn't, because there's some kind of building work going on, so the park is closed, so I've got no choice. But I don't think it is actually, because there's no aircon there, so I think it must be, well, I've got no choice, it must be along this road. Where where I can enter the village of Llanymynech, and I'm coming up to the sign telling me I'm there now. Here we are, and they've got some lovely flower tubs everywhere. So I've reached the end in Llanymynech, and I've just walked up the busy A483. It should have started. The path actually comes along that towpath along the canal, but just at the start of Llanymynech, it's closed because they're building a new bridge. So a local told me, and you have to divert, although no diversion signs, but you have to divert onto the road that runs parallel to the towpath, and this is the end of my route today. So yeah, pretty easy walk. Definitely time for the mental games to kick in, where it becomes as much a question of what's going on in your head as much as what's going on in your feet. So I'm gonna sit here by the canal wharf and wait for my lift. But yeah, I got a good day's walking today, and enjoyed it. While I'm waiting here, sitting on this bench for my driver, it started to rain. Unbelievable. Fortunately, I'm partially under a tree, although the rain is gradually beginning to seep through that as well. It's absolutely pelting down. Whether you can see it in the background, I don't know. Yeah, a really heavy shower.